So now I get to talk about Ed Sheeran, someone who I both love and hate simultaneously. Ed Sheeran's real talent is in creating these acoustic guitar grooves that serve as slinky jams and layering quick, sometimes even witty vocals with it. Which is why it's such a shame that the dude wants to make boring-ass John Mayer style guy with guitar songs all the time. He's a good songwriter, but it's like he wants to be emotive, but instead says the cheesiest bullshit imaginable. I just wish that there were a song where he could combine those things that he were good at. Don't win my love. Well, I mean, that's a good example, but it's very... How should I put this?
But me and her, we make money the same way. 4 cities, 2 planes the same day.
Specific. Perhaps something a little bit more open to interpretation, like Thinking Out Loud was, but without drowning it in cheese! Oh, and maybe some different subject matter?
No, 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 don't leave me lonely now. If you love me, how you never love.
There we go. This song happens to exemplify everything that I do like about Ed Sheeran. And I bet you think that Thinking Out Loud is going to be my example of a song that exemplifies things I dislike about Ed Sheeran, right? Well, you would be wrong. And I bet you probably thinking that the song that does exemplify everything I dislike about Ed Sheeran, considering every song I've talked about is from his second album, Multiply, is also a song from his second album, Multiply. And you know, you're probably now thinking that I brought that up just to subvert your expectations. Well, you would be wrong. It's from the album Multiply. Wait. Would you be wrong? I lost track. Of all the songs of his that sound like they were made to falsify emotion in a goddamn commercial, this is the optimum example of it from Ed Sheeran's entire catalog. So Eddie Boy actually released 2 songs on the same... Why did I hold up my thumb? 2 songs on the same day to promote the same album. The first of these songs was Castle on the Hill. Well, first, they were on the same day. There's really no first. One of them was Castle on the Hill. That song is just another commercialized Ed Sheeran song. It's okay, I guess. Listenable. Just, it's got a lot of the things that I dislike. The other song is a sex jam named Shape of You. Guess which one of those hit number 1? Go ahead. Take a quick guess. It's not the one that I didn't like. Okay, before I even get it started, I gotta talk about this instrumental. Now, normally, I'm a guy who likes a lot of percussion. I like my percussion fast, complex, and energetic. That's part of the reason I listen to Pendulum so often. But this song, believe it or not, barely has any percussion in it, and I still like the instrumental a lot. Those snappy sounds there, those are acoustic guitar. See, most of the drum work is done by simply playing an acoustic guitar but muting the notes. I've seen people hit an acoustic guitar to do drums, but you know, that doesn't happen all that often. It adds actually a somewhat unique sound to the song on that bass level. And the xylophones certainly remind me of that pseudo-Caribbean plague that happened in 2016. But it's not exactly that, and it's not a sound that I'm too tired of hearing from 2016 either. Certainly some people used it as part of their pseudo-Caribbean thing, but it wasn't as overplayed as some of the other things that were associated with that. Let's just say that it's unique enough, and it's got a minimalistic sound while still sounding very creative. Although I would like to note that maybe the minimalistic, you get what I'm saying, the minimalistic sound is going to turn some people off. I'm just leaving all these fuck-ups in. The first verse tells a story about the hookup, so it serves as a good entry point into the sexing. And this does actually play into Ed Sheeran's strengths as a songwriter. See, much like Taylor Swift, when Ed Sheeran is covering broader emotional topics, other than, you know, in Bloodstream, he tends to fall a little bit flat on his face. But when covering a specific story, Ed Sheeran tends to do a much better job, also much like Taylor Swift. I guess the only real notable thing other than that to talk about with the first verse is to talk about the bridge a little bit. Or at the very least, the lead into the bridge. Each verse ends with a song beginning to play, which leads into the fact that Ed's supposed to be singing during the narrative of the bridge. Which does a good job of tying the narrative in the verses to the more broad concepts presented in the bridge and the chorus. Okay, fine, I guess I will talk about the bridge then. The bridge is nothing special, it's just an indication of physical attraction. Although it is worth noting the way he does it, and I'll be honest, this could be seen as a little bit confusing, although most people probably won't get confused. He switches to the woman's perspective, and really the only indicator he did so was that he starts the second half with boy, whereas he started the first half with girl, indicating the person that he is talking to. But both of those halves in the second to last line have follow my lead, with the first half not you repeating follow my lead in the last line of that first half. It's almost like they're sort of leading each other through this intercourse of sexual things. Or it could just be that Ed Sheeran forgot to write the last line of the bridge. Either one is a good artistic interpretation. To sum up the chorus, he comes up with a bunch of flowery ways to say the two of them had sex and they enjoyed it. That's pretty much it. I feel like this is going to be a short review. So in the second verse, we start hearing about their first date a week later, which indicates to me that this hookup turned into an actual relationship. That's pretty much all I got to add here. Well, except,
You and me are thrifty, so go all you can eat. Fill up your bag and I fill up the plate.
That was randomly detailed. I mean, isn't the chorus about how good the sex is, and isn't the chorus to a song supposed to be an indicator of what the song's overall message is? I mean, it doesn't really add to the narrative of the song for me, is what I'm getting at. And honestly, I think you could justify it by saying that he was leading into the sort of play on words with the sweet and sour at the beginning of the next line, but you didn't need to talk about filling up a bag with food from an all-you-can-eat buffet. You just need to say that you went out to eat. I mean, that's a lot of details to say sweet and sour. I mean, I guess you could say that it was a Chinese place because it's an all-you-can-eat buffet, and a lot of all-you-can-eat buffets are Chinese. You know what? It doesn't fucking matter. It was stupid. Anyway, the rest of the song is just...
Come on, be my baby, come on. Come on, be my baby, come on.
Which kind of just tells me that Sheeran gave up and the label wanted the song to be longer. Look, I do like the sound of the song, I really do, but as far as sex jams go, I think Eddie Boy could do better. Hell, I would argue he has done better without trying to. Yes, the song Don't is about a breakup, but it's a damn sexy breakup song. It's definitely got some of the good parts of Ed Sheeran's catalog that I do like, but it does get dragged down a little bit by writing that tends to be overly detailed, one of the things that Ed Sheeran has a bad habit of doing. I mean, I'll groove to it, but I probably would have ignored this if it didn't land so high on the charts. That's pretty much it. You guys, stay classy. This was very casual. This is so casual. Such a casual recording.